Welcome back to Bookish Dives. Now, if you've joined us before, you know how this works. We take source material you send us, often complex, sometimes pretty controversial.
And we try to break it down impartially.
Exactly. And today, we've got a text that's, well, it's definitely prescriptive, very analytical, and, yeah, unapologetically inflammatory.
We're digging into excerpts from Hoe Tactics, Savage Edition, How to Mind Freck a Man into Spending, Spoiling, and Sponsoring. The author is G.O. Lambert.
And just to be super clear up front, our mission here isn't about endorsing any of this, not at all.
No, we're strictly summarizing, analyzing the core ideas. The author basically frames relationships through, like, a radical behavioral economics lens.
Right. The stated goal in the text is weaponizing male psychology to achieve very specific material outcomes. The book calls them treats, tricks, and sponsors.
Yeah, it's crucial to grasp that this isn't positioning itself as your standard dating advice book. Think of it more like an instruction manual for capitalizing on desire.
Okay, so let's unpack the foundation. The author sets up this central conflict right away, the basic hoe versus the smart hoe. And the big question posed is, why do women who seem to do everything right, you know, home-cooked meals, patience, even helping out financially, all the stuff men say they want?
Why do they often end up being the ones splitting the bill or just getting dumped?
Exactly. Going Dutch, as the book puts it.
And the author's answer is purely, well, economic. The argument is that the basica, by conforming, becomes an economic liability. Stability, predictability. It's framed as boring.
So, zero perceived market value.
Pretty much. Whereas the smart hoe, she's lauded, called a capitalist who aggressively chases her goals, like a shrewd Wall Street operator. That's the analogy used.
Wow. So the woman complaining about her situation is dismissed as an educated fool, someone who knows better but lacks the courage to act.
That's the framing. While the smart hoe is celebrated for, quote, manifesting her destiny through hustle.
So what drives the man's choice, according to Lambert?
It boils down to one thing: excitement. Overwhelmingly. Men are driven by excitement over stability. That's the core assertion.
And the hoe provides that excitement.
Exactly. She breaks the rules, creates scarcity, high stakes. She actively leads the man towards what the text calls his most savage urges. So the choice becomes easy for him. Excitement wins over comfort.
And the tactics themselves, the book claims they're not just about sex.
Right. It emphasizes that. It's presented as a step-by-step method for using a woman's brain to exploit male psychology. It explicitly states hoe tactics isn't about sex alone. It's strategic, emotional deployment.
Psychological.
Okay, and running through all of this, the absolute linchpin, the word popping up constantly.
Confidence.
Confidence. It has to be there.
It's presented as the essential ingredient. Without it, the discipline needed for the tactics just falls apart. The book does acknowledge physical attraction, sure.
Yeah, it mentions things like donkey booty and D-cups. Right, but it insists looks only get initial attention. They don't enchant, they don't secure resources on their own. The real power comes from strategically using charm and projecting self-worth.
Which leads us to what the book calls the Trinity of Appeal. 3 things the smart hoe needs. First one is charm.
And this isn't just being pleasant, it's described as deliberate, using compliments, flattery, something called flirty sass.
To stroke the ego?
Systematically stroke the ego, yes. To, quote, hypnotize them into a comfortable state. It's very calculated.
Okay, second element, sex appeal.
And here, the book gets surprisingly specific about execution. Dress sexy but not sleazy. Always leave something to the imagination.
And the logic behind that.
It's tactical. This balance is meant to command respect while still attracting, quote, quality men. The goal is to avoid being labeled a hoochie mama, which apparently devalues you in the system.
All right. And the third part of the Trinity, the one the author says most women miss.
Coolness. This means maintaining a genuine, down for whatever, let's have fun, no stress, no mess disposition.
So low drama.
Zero drama. While the basica might bring emotional baggage, the smart hoe offers emotional scarcity. She's presented as easygoing emotionally.
But not easy sexually.
Absolutely not. That's the key distinction, the tension. Easy emotionally, difficult sexually. That's the riddle the book claims keeps men hooked and investing.
Which flows right into probably the most foundational tactic, dick discipline.
Yeah, the book is incredibly blunt here. It tells women they need to accept their own sexual nature using the exact phrase, "you like to fuck."
Wow.
But then immediately pivot to imposing an unwavering decision to abstain. Total control.
So this is the core leverage, abstinence.
It's presented as the operational lockdown. The author is adamant the second a woman provides sex, her leverage becomes, quote, non-existent.
Why? What's the reasoning?
Because the dynamic shifts. It goes from being a strategic negotiation, essentially, to just a comfortable arrangement. And comfort, as we said, is framed as having no value. It kills the perceived worth.
Okay, so discipline creates the leverage. But how does the book suggest women actually put a price on that leverage?
That brings in the concept of pussy value and cost. Now, the value is described as inherent, priceless self-worth, but the cost, that's determined entirely by the woman's actions. Or inaction.
Like an auction.
Exactly the analogy used. An eBay auction. The price goes up with demand and scarcity. The woman has to be the auctioneer, setting the terms.
You mentioned an IHOP analogy earlier. That seemed pretty stark.
It is. It's designed to show the cost of passivity. In the example, a woman accepts a date at IHOP. By doing so, she passively lets the man subconsciously set the price of accessing her sexually at about $27, the cost of the meal.
Okay.
Then the book calculates, okay, if this happens 3 times a month and then she finally sleeps with him, the total sell price for her intimacy was effectively $81, all because she didn't proactively set a higher standard.
That's ruthlessly transactional.
Completely. So setting the price early is critical. The first date is just a sample, no going home, no physical stuff, period.
And the second date?
That's where you establish expectations. The you are what you eat rule. Cues elegance. Not necessarily just expense, but something that signals your standard.
And demand to be showcased.
Right. These are called rebuck dates. In the book, think live music, theater, maybe a gallery opening, places where she can be seen in a high-value context. It's all about projecting scarcity and a lifestyle that requires his investment to maintain.
Okay, so we have the rules. Now let's look at the execution. The book uses this figure, Maria, as a case study, right? The smart hoe in action.
Yes, Maria exemplifies the aggressive seduction tactics. For her, flirting isn't passive, it's proactive. Because, as the book bluntly puts it, money is always worth the risk.
So she makes the first move.
Often, yes. Flipping the script, she doesn't wait to be approached.
And there are specific physical techniques.
Definitely. Starting with invading space. Subtle things, a nudge on the shoulder, brushing lint off his jacket, a light tap on the chest.
While angled sideways.
Yeah. Positioning herself side-angled is mentioned. It's supposed to disarm him, spark libido without being too direct or confrontational.
And vocally. There's something called a sexy highlighter.
It's about voice inflection. Carefully emphasizing certain words the examples given are like hard or hang in normal conversation.
To insinuate sex without actually talking about it.
Precisely. Keep the sexual tension simmering. Put the idea in his head, but make it his idea, not hers explicitly.
And then there's the training aspect. The dogs get doggy treats concept.
This is pure operant conditioning, basically. Positive reinforcement.
How does that work in practice?
She rewards behavior she wants to encourage. A nice dinner might earn a deep, passionate kiss, a really romantic date, maybe playing with his penis on the drive home.
But crucially, not the full act.
Absolutely crucial. She rewards the effort with escalating physical intimacy, but never the ultimate prize, full intercourse or oral sex during this training phase.
So the man learns to associate spending and effort with getting closer physically.
Exactly. It creates dependency. He's conditioned to invest more to get those treats.
Right. Now, the end game, it's explicitly financial. The book talks about setting goals.
Yes. Practical, achievable goals. Divided into 3 categories: treat, trick, and sponsor. And it advises starting small. Aim for help with a car note, maybe. Not a condo deposit right off the bat. Don't scare him away.
And the nature of the relationship itself.
Unequivocal. Quote, none of this is meant to be a long-lasting relationship. It's purely transactional. Once the financial goal is hit, the hoe must exit.
Why must she exit?
To avoid the tables turning. To prevent herself from becoming the one who gets exploited or develops feelings that compromise the strategy.
Okay, which brings us to the peak maneuver. Maria's kill shot.
Yeah.
The St. Laurent strategy.
This is presented as the height of the mind-fucking technique promised by the title. Maria needs money, supposedly for an apartment deposit. She frames it as desperate, a life-or-death struggle she needs his help with.
He's her rescuer.
That's the narrative she creates. He feels noble, protective. He gives her the money she asks for. 3 stacks is the term used.
But the money wasn't for the deposit.
Nope. The book reveals she used it for a designer handbag. Hence, the St. Laurent strategy.
And the psychological win.
Is that he paid willingly, believing he did it out of affection or protectiveness, love for his friend, boo sister fantasy, as the book puts it. His ego is stroked, his desire to provide is manipulated, and he feels good about it. That's the successful mindfuck.
And then the exit. How does the hoe disappear?
It has to be managed carefully. The preferred method is the slow fade out of existence. Become suddenly busy with work, vague family troubles, believable excuses, or initiate fake arguments, minor conflicts, engineered so he feels like he's the one ending things.
Why put the breakup on him?
To ensure she leaves him, quote, doubting that you were indeed a hoe. It protects her reputation for future operations and leaves him less likely to feel purely used, potentially still willing to provide support later.
Okay, so pulling back to the big picture, what we have here is this incredibly detailed, amoral system.
Deeply analytical, yeah. A framework for capitalizing on male desire that demands immense confidence and discipline from the woman using it. Emotion becomes a tool, a lever.
Right, and that core difference the book highlights between the Basica and the Smart Hoe really boils down to self-control, doesn't it? And refusing to give up that leverage.
Absolutely. Traditional relationship values like stability and comfort, they're framed almost as strategic liabilities. Giving them away is losing the game.
So, turning to you, the listener, what does this intensely transactional viewpoint make you think? The book essentially argues the path to winning isn't through affection or nurturing.
No, it's about becoming addictive. Like a heroin fix is the analogy used, something the man becomes psychologically dependent on.
Which definitely raises a follow-up question, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Something maybe the book doesn't fully explore.
What's the real long-term cost, the emotional cost, the psychological toll of achieving victory through this kind of relentless, cynical discipline and detachment? That feels like something worth thinking about after the book is closed.
A very provocative thought indeed. Well, thank you for joining us on this particularly intense bookish dive. If you found this breakdown valuable, definitely follow the show. We'll be back with more deep dives into complex, sometimes uncomfortable, source material.